Just pulled up to the Pesticide Storage Center at ARDIC, which is Colorado State University's Northern Research, Education, and Demonstration Center. I would like to show you some of the facilities we have here for storing and working with the pesticides that we utilize in our pest management programs. You'll notice that the entire facility, which is a series of modules, is surrounded by a high fence. It's locked. Again, this security is important so that we don't have any unauthorized individuals that can come into the facility. The facility has a management committee that oversees the storage protocols for working with these pesticides. So what I'd like to do now is take you to the pesticide preparation laboratory and give you an idea of how we utilize this facility, as well as one of the typical units that we use to store some of our pesticides for our research and field purposes. Working with and storing pesticides in the proper way is very important, whether you're a researcher or a grower or a pest management specialist working in the field. Today we're looking at the pest storage facility at the Colorado State University up at ARDIC. We have a series of modules manufactured by Safety Storage in Boulder. These units are each self-contained. They have heat controls, ventilation controls, so that we can maintain the proper temperatures throughout the year so it doesn't get too hot or too cold that might affect the stability and storability of some of the pesticides that we're using on the farm here or for research purposes. I'm in the general work lab right now. This is an area where researchers can come in with their pesticides. They can measure out the proper amount to use for an experiment or for a general field application. And we have a variety of procedures and equipment in here that support that activity. We do have a safety shower. That way, if there is a spill or something that gets on the individual, they can clean themselves up. We have scales, electronic balances to weigh out the product, as well as cylinders to measure out liquid material. We have a ventilation system to exhaust it. Of course, most importantly, the user should be well prepared and dressed when they enter this facility to work with a pesticide. Generally, a person would have on a disposable safety suit. It could be a Tyvek type of suit. We require our students and technicians to use rubber gloves or disposable gloves to protect their hands and not get contaminated by a pesticide. And depending upon the volatility and the type of material, they will often, too, wear a respirator with various types of filters in it that will keep out any particulate matters or volatiles that could affect the user. Another thing, for all safety areas like this, we maintain up-to-date records. This is a book that contains the MSDS sheets, Material Safety Data Sheets. So for each pesticide that we have stored here, there's a sheet from the manufacturer that lists some of the key components. That is it volatile? What temperature will it freeze or maybe liquefy? Things like this. So this is important in case there is a problem with any particular pesticide. We also have other reference materials in here that the users can take advantage of. Generally, a user will have a cell phone with them in case there is a problem. Again, we take these precautions not because we're working with a lot of dangerous materials, but we just want to be prepared in case there is a particular problem that might occur. Another aspect on these storage units is in the floor, we have slatted floors. These metal slats will lift up, and then if we do have a spill of a chemical, we can come in and actually clean up and then properly dispose of that contaminated material that we picked up by paper towels or however we had to clean it up. So again, these storage units are really very functional, very effective for the proper storage and work of our pesticides. The Colorado State University system has similar modules located at each of our branch research stations around the state, again for researchers, students, and workers to utilize pesticides in the most efficient and safe manner. Well, this is one of the storage units that has been assigned to a specific discipline, in this case plant pathology, to store fungicides and bactericides. We have a series of modules here at the center. Some are assigned to the weed scientist to store their herbicides. Others are assigned to the entomologist to store insecticides. And this is an example of how we manage our fungicides and bactericides. We try to minimize the cross storage of these units just due to differences in volatility and reduce the numbers of workers that will be entering these small units. Each of these units, as with the general work area, has good ventilation, heating. We don't have air conditioning in these units, but again, with the white color of the exterior and just the design, these never get too hot during the summer. They maintain pretty good cooling. What we've done is that we have a series of shelves around the perimeter of each of these storage modules, and most researchers will actually go in and inventory or categorize these, usually alphabetically or by type of chemistry involved. One of the key things that we always insist upon with the users of these facilities is, again, to keep good records. We had the MSDS sheets in the main lab. Workers here will usually have a notebook as well as a reference guide. For example, this is a CPR, crop protection reference guide, that has, again, a listing of all of the labeled products that we are doing research with. And then experimental products, we will add those with another notebook. Another thing for proper storage of these materials is to have the containers be well sealed. For example, here you can see that this small container has been taped. The lid is good. The structure is intact. There's no leaks. And another thing we normally do is put the date when we receive this product as well on the container. This way, when we're doing inventory or need to clean out old material, old product, it's easier to identify something that's been stored for a year versus stored for maybe 10 years. Ideally, we don't store any of these products for more than 2 or 3 years. We want to get away from having long stock inventory, and generally we will return unused research materials and older product to the manufacturer upon the completion of our experiments here at Colorado State University. Again, with the shelving unit, we can accommodate small containers, such as shown on these shelves, whether they be in liquid or dry form. And then on the floor, we reserve that for heavier components, usually our liquids that are going to be down there. If there is a spill, then that material would be caught in the catch basin in the floor of this unit, which again we can lift up and clean up and properly dispose of unused materials. And one final thing that we have here at this research facility is another small module where, when we're ready to dispose of unused or spilled materials that we've cleaned up, we put that in the proper container, and then we can call environmental health at the university, and they can come out and retrieve these materials and then properly dispose of them for us.